What if I told you that one of the most powerful business lessons I've learned came from a college student who was failing chemistry? Today, we're talking about perspective, the ability to see reality accurately, because sometimes the thing that feels like a disaster is actually just a chemistry grade. And sometimes the thing that you think is a chemistry grade is actually a disaster. Let's get into it.
Hey, lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Bolts. I'm an attorney and founder of Bolts Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Bolts, owner of Bolts Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the miss in biz.
Let's get biz done.
A daughter was away at college, and she wrote this letter to her parents. Dear Mom and Dad, I'm sorry I haven't written sooner, but so much has happened. A few weeks ago, the dormitory caught fire. I barely escaped through a second-story window. I lost almost everything I owned. While recovering at the hospital, I met a wonderful young man named Kenny. Kenny is kind and caring. Even though he dropped out of school, doesn't have a job, and doesn't own a car, after I was released from the hospital, I had nowhere to stay. So he invited me to move into his trailer with him.
That is like a parent's worst nightmare.
So listen, keep listening. I know you'll be happy to hear that we're expecting a baby.
Oh, no.
We haven't decided on a wedding date yet, but Kenny is still Shoot it. I'm messing this up. Because Kenny is still finalizing his divorce from his third wife. But we're hopeful everything will work out. Money is a little tight right now, but we're making it. Kenny thinks he may be able to find work soon, assuming his probation officer approves it. I know this is a lot to take in, but I wanted you to hear it from me first. Love, your daughter.
Is this real life?
P.S. None of that is true, but it looks like I'll be failing chemistry this semester. I just wanted you to receive that information in the proper perspective.
That is amazing. So smart.
I intentionally did not tell Rachel this story in advance because I wanted to get your natural reaction. But that's a story that I heard at a conference I attended recently, and I've been thinking about it so much because perspective is so important. I mean, think about how those parents would have received that news about her failing chemistry. Right. Had she just come right out and said, I'm failing chemistry.
Right.
I mean, they would have probably I would have hit the roof if my kids were like, yeah, I'm failing. I would have been really upset. But then when you take it in context of all the other things
that could be wrong,
that could have happened, you're like, okay, fine. That's, hallelujah for the epic chemistry. So why this is so brilliant is because the chemistry grade never changed. The facts didn't change. Only the perspective changed. And that is exactly what happens in business. Most business owners spend their days reacting to chemistry grades, a negative review, a lost client, a missed goal, a disappointing month, a team member quit. And suddenly we convince ourselves that the dorm is on fire.
Yeah, so research shows that approximately 85% of what people worry about never actually happens. That's huge. And even more interesting, when the feared event does happen, people typically handle it much better than they predicted. Think about it. Most entrepreneurs are spending energy solving problems that don't even exist. We're emotionally paying interest on debt that we never owe.
So remember the client that left? At the time, it felt devastating. 6 months later, you realized they were your highest maintenance, lowest profit client. Remember the employee who quit? At the time, it felt catastrophic. And then 3 months later, you find someone better. Remember when Facebook changed the algorithm, Google changed the rules, when interest rates went up, for me, when they changed the laws in Florida, when everybody was convinced that AI was about to eliminate every business? Well, we're still here. Business owners survive things every year that would have terrified them if they had known they were coming.
I mean, that's so true. We're constantly worried about things that we feel are true in the moment, not really realizing what God has in store for us in the future and how those terrible things are actually paving the way to where God wants us to be in our lives.
Right. And sometimes they're not even that terrible. We just think they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we think that the chemistry grade is the end of the world, but in the grand scheme of life, is it really that terrible?
Right.
It really isn't, but we don't always see it that way. We think this is the most terrible thing that could ever happen, and maybe it is, but maybe it's not.
I really identify with the statement of, you know, how you feel bad losing that client, and then you realize that they were your lowest paying, highest maintenance client. That has been true for me a couple of different times. And then once some time has passed, you really have time to reflect and look back and realize that this was the best thing that could have possibly happened.
Yeah. I've had the same experience with employees, high producing employees that I thought I'll never find another person who's going to be as hardworking or do as good of a job as this person. But meanwhile, they had personality conflicts with people in the office. And after they were gone, it was just a breath of fresh air that everyone breathed, and everybody stepped up to the plate, and we found someone even better who fit better with the team.
Right.
Finding guests for a podcast can be difficult sometimes, so Brooke and I wanted to let you guys know that we are available to appear on your podcast.
We also enjoy speaking at events, so if you have an event coming up, these jingles can go on the road.
Simply go to missbiz.com/contact and in the subject line, write podcast guest or event speaker, and we'll reach out to you to further coordinate.
So here's something successful entrepreneurs understand that struggling entrepreneurs don't. A problem is not the same as a threat. Revenue down 10%, problem. Business ending, threat. Employee made a mistake, problem. Company collapsing, threat. You didn't hit your quarterly goal, problem. You're living in Kenny's trailer with a baby and a probation officer, threat. And that distinction is what really matters.
Right. Perspective affects decision making. When everything feels urgent, nothing is important. And when every challenge feels catastrophic, you start making decisions out of fear. You hire too fast. You fire too fast. You discount too much. You panic market. You abandon good strategies too early. Fear shrinks your time horizon, and perspective expands it.
So an exercise that we've never heard anyone teach is the next time something goes wrong, ask yourself these 3 questions. Question number 1, will this matter in 3 days? Question number 2, will this matter in 3 months? And question number 3, will this matter in 3 years? Most business problems fail all 3 tests, yet we treat them like emergencies. I know one thing that I started doing with my business is when clients contact me about certain things, I have to think, is this an emergency? Is this an emergency? Because I was in that mode where every time a client would call me, I would act like it was an emergency.
Right.
And so that's something that you really have to evaluate and reflect before you take action on anything is this an emergency? So
Right.
I love that perspective.
Yeah. I think these questions are really useful to help you ground yourself in reality. When the chemistry failing grade comes in, will this matter in 3 days? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's going to affect your GPA. In 3 months, probably not. You'll move on to a new semester and be able to get better grades, or you can retake the course. Will this matter in 3 years? No, because you're going to be done out of school. It's right. Over and done with. So I think these questions are really good to help you sit back and ask yourself, is this something I should be panicked about? Is this something that I should be overreacting to? Or is it just my adrenaline or, my anxiety that's reacting?
So the reverse perspective exercise is very powerful. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. You're successful. The business is thriving. You are exactly where you want to be. Now look backward at today's problem. What advice would future you give current you? Probably something like, calm down, you'll figure it out. This isn't the big thing. Keep going. And the future version of you knows something that the current version of you doesn't. Most of today's emergencies are tomorrow's funny stories.
This reminds me of Married at First Sight. They write,
oh Lord.
It's not Love is Blind. It's Married at First Sight. And Married at First Sight, one of the things they do along the journey of getting married is they write a letter to their past self. And so that's kind of what this is saying. Sit down and think about your future self and look back at where you are now, and what advice would you give yourself in this moment. And in that same way, you can look back at your past self and look at those times where you thought things were so terrible, right, you were never going to get through, and now how things have worked out. I know for me, as I've aged, that history of seeing how things have worked out for me has really helped to build my faith. And so now when something looks bad, I have greater faith than I did when I was younger, because I have seen so many times where God brought me through to a better place as a result of it. So some of this comes with maturity and aging as well.
And I love what was mentioned about most of today's emergencies are tomorrow's funny stories. You think about the funny stories that you tell today, and a lot of times, often they're like either really embarrassing things that happened to you that in that moment you felt like were the end of the world, and now like you're laughing at them. So I really like that perspective shift there, and I think that that's important to keep in mind when you're undergoing certain things that are challenging in your life.
Do you love the Miss Biz podcast?
Because we love you.
Here's 3 things you can do to show your support.
1, write us a review. Apple, Spotify, and Google My Business are the best platforms to write a review.
2, follow us on social media. Our handle is at Miss Biz Podcast.
3, join our Facebook group, Miss Biz Nation, for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage. Also, ask questions related to your business and discuss topics from our episodes.
So the daughter who wrote that note, she understood something profound, that perspective changes emotional weight. The facts remained exactly the same. The story around the facts changed. As business owners, we need to stop treating every chemistry grade like a dormitory fire. Sometimes the business really is on fire, but most of the time, it's just a chemistry grade. And if we can learn the difference, we'll make better decisions, sleep better, lead better, and enjoy the journey a whole lot more. And I just want to say one other thing, because when I think back on my career and different people that I've worked with over the years, you can tell the difference between the people who are always at their wits' end and are always stressed out about things that really shouldn't be stressing them out. There's the person who is like, I did 3 assignments this week, and I'm like, I'm exhausted. I can't do anything more. And then you're like, that really wasn't all that much. But they think it is. To them, it is. It's the end of the world. And I see those people get held back from their fullest potential so much because everything seems like it's just overwhelming. Everything seems like it's the end of the world. You know, I just did one thing today and oh my gosh, the world is ending. How could I do work 1 minute more? And you may know those people, or you may be one of those people themselves. And I think we have to look at ourselves, because if that is some of these people too, they're the most brilliant people I've ever met. They have the most talent of anyone I've ever met. They have, the sky is the limit on what they truly would be capable of, but they hold themselves back because they always think that the sky is falling. They always think that they're so overwhelmed instead of just pushing through. It's like, here's a challenge, push through.
Right.
Not feel sorry for yourself or feel like it's too much. And it's all the time. It's all the time. And those people, when I've worked with them, they've never lasted the long term with the company, because you can't give them a reasonable workload, because it always feels too much to them. And you got 10 other employees doing the same workload, having no problem. But this person who's fully capable and brilliant can't keep up because they think it's too much. And it's just truly their perspective.
Yeah, it's a mindset shift. And, you know, we a lot of times people hold themselves back, whether it's self-limiting beliefs or just like you said, the perspective of the situation at hand. Instead of thinking like, bring it on, I'm going to crush today, they're thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through this? And that impacts their reality because of the way that they're perceiving. And then that impacts the way that they respond to it. And then it just becomes a vicious cycle. And
I don't know if they understand how others see that either, because I think when they're expressing to me, for example, oh, you know, I couldn't take another phone call. I couldn't do another thing. Like, I'm just so overwhelmed. I think they are looking for empathy and they're looking for validation. And I probably give it in the moment, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking this is not a person who I can really rely on because they don't have that toughness to keep up with the fast pace of what we do here. And so I immediately know this is probably going to be an ongoing problem and something that they're probably not going to be a long-term fit for the firm. So it just be careful too, even if you're maybe thinking it, about who you express it to and how they are probably interpreting it. Because it's not good, even if they're saying things to validate you.
Right. So this week, when something goes wrong, don't ask, how bad is this? Ask, compared to what? Because perspective isn't just a mindset, it's a business skill. And sometimes the difference between panic and progress is simply remembering that Kenny, the trailer, the pregnancy, and the probation officer were never real. The only real problem was chemistry.
We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltslegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltsmedia.com. Let's get biz done.